Hello, my name is Haley Crawford. I'm with Girl Scout Troop 3097 and I am doing my Girl Scout Gold Award project on animal neglect, cruelty, and abuse, and who to report it to.
Hi, I'm Kelly Chalkley, and I am the founder and director of Sunshine Senior Dog Sanctuary here in Gordonsville, Virginia. And today I am helping Haley with her project by talking to you about animal abuse and neglect. As you can see, I have my Team Tommy shirt on, and it is an unfortunate incident that happened here in the Richmond area just this year, but it has created a lot of talk and some new legislation to help really nail down animal abusers and punish them accordingly.
If you think someone you know is abusing animals, please say something. You can report your suspicions, cruelty, abuse, and neglect to your local law enforcement, humane organization, animal control agency, or an animal shelter.
As you know, or may not know, Tommy was a dog who was brutally bound to a pole and set on fire. He unfortunately succumbed to his injuries. The perpetrator was caught, thank goodness, and as a result of all the community support and everybody rallying together and understanding how horrible an act this was, new legislation was brought forth and signed into law by our governor to make animal cruelty a felony in the state of Virginia. And we are still facing an upward battle, as punishment is always going to be dependent on the judge. And we would like everybody to pay for their crimes to the fullest extent of the law. So there is still a lot of work to be done in that arena. But what I really want to talk to you today about is neglect. Abuse is easily identifiable.
Environmental signs of cruelty: pets tied up alone outside for long periods of time without enough food or water, or unsanitized food and water, pets outside without adequate shelter, pets kept in an area littered with feces, garbage, or broken glass, animals in cages or kennels too small to house them or too crowded. So please, you see something, say something.
What we see in our rescue mission oftentimes is neglect based on the owner's care of the animal. Neglect can be anything from overfeeding, underfeeding, failing to properly vaccinate the animal, failing to provide preventatives for heartworm and flea and tick treatment. Some of you might not think that's very important, but tick-borne diseases such as Lyme can severely impact the quality of life of a dog. They affect their kidney function, they affect their neurologic functions, and really lower the quality of life. Heartworm disease is a big component of what we do here. We take in the older dogs. If they have not been on their heartworm preventatives and heartworm disease develops, it wreaks havoc throughout their internal organs.
My name is Evelyn, and I'm here to talk about a particular animal that we saved from abuse and cruelty and neglect. Back about 20 years ago, we came across a dog. His name was Samson. He had no food, no water, was on about a 4-foot chain, and no doghouse. You could see all of his ribs, his spinal cord and everything, and we really didn't think he would survive. When we came across the animal, we had told the person whose house it was at that if he could take $20 for the dog, or we would call animal control and we'd get the dog anyways. And the dog, even though we didn't figure it would survive, we figured at least it wouldn't be in that environment when it died. We took the animal home and called the veterinarian and explained what was going on, and he gave us tips on what to do to get him back to where he should be. Of course, we didn't get our hopes up that Samson would live, but as the vet told us, we fed him 6-7 times a day, really small amounts so his stomach wouldn't burst, and just kept doing that. And within 6 months, Samson was over 100 pounds. But this is an example of where we saw something, we said something, and we were able to save a life.
Carl, who is wandering around behind me, is one of our cases. We've had another case, a dog named Denali, who was so heavily burdened with heartworms that we thought he would not survive. We took him in a year ago. His prognosis was he only really had a couple weeks to live, but through proper medical care, the expensive and difficult treatment of the heartworm treatment, he is now a year later and incredibly healthy and about to celebrate his 12th birthday. Carl has undergone his treatment for heartworms, and he is also now heartworm negative and doing well. He had surgery just yesterday because we also found some cancerous masses on his belly and his ear that needed to be removed, and he came to us with broken teeth. Dental neglect is also a big issue for the dogs. It can damage their kidneys as well, and again, lower the quality of life that they have. So we had to get his teeth removed. So he's recovering. He's wandering around back there and he's doing okay today. We suspect that Carl's issue was he was a dog that was tied up out on a chain down in North Carolina. So his broken teeth is most likely from him either eating rocks because he was hungry and that's all that was available, or trying to chew through his chain. He was found roaming the streets at large. He was nearly hit by a motorist. She did have some damage to her car as she swerved to avoid hitting him, but they were able to get him and bring him into the shelter. There he is. He has partial hearing loss, he has partial vision loss, he has arthritis. All of these things were because he lived his life out on a chain with nothing more than a simple dog shelter, which was probably not adequate for him. He's got skin issues around his collar, he's got hair loss. All of these things could be prevented with proper care, bringing your dog indoors. If they have to be outside for periods of time, making sure that it's for short periods of time and not left out there indefinitely. He's doing quite well with us, as all of our dogs do, once they get over their typical period of adjustment and we have all of their health issues addressed. But he has not had an easy life up to this point. We had a dog that we took in a few years ago who came also from a situation where he was an outside dog. He had no shelter, no food or water, nothing. He was in Tennessee. Ice storms come through there, heat waves come through there. He was not protected by his people at all. He not only had skin issues, he had a major ear infection in both ears that took us 6 months to 9 months to recover from. You can imagine the expense of treating that. He had arthritis and muscle atrophy in his legs so bad that he could not walk when we got him. He would scoot from place to place, so he needed therapy, very slow and short therapy to get his strength back. And although we were able to get him to a point where he could walk again, he was never able to fully recover the function of his back legs, and that is ultimately what led to his demise, is he lost the function of his back legs, and we had to make the decision that his quality of life had deteriorated to the point that it was no longer fun for him to be around, and we had to let him go. So we see this in rescue time and time again. One of our dogs, Lacey, who's a beagle, came to us severely overfed. She's a beagle Rottweiler, so she is on the larger side, but she was 88 pounds, if you can imagine. She could not move around very well. She could not get up and down stairs very well. She could not clean herself very well. She could honestly barely move around. She was, imagine just a barrel with 4 little legs and a face. So we had to put her on a weight management protocol and give her some exercise, and now she's down to 64 pounds, which is much more reasonable for her. Still sounds like a lot, but again, she was a Rottweiler mix. We have taken in dogs who have been not properly socialized. To me, that's another form of neglect. If your dog is not properly socialized and cannot enjoy interacting with either other humans or other dogs, are they really living their best life? When they're not properly socialized, it also causes a problem if, for whatever reason, they end up in the shelter system. We hope that every dog is with their family for life, but we understand that life throws curveballs, situations change. When you have an unsocialized dog that you then have to surrender to the shelter, it's difficult to find placement for that animal, and that reduces their chance of making it out of the shelter system and into a happy and loving home. So we feel that socialization is very important and another form of neglect. We have our dog Denali that I mentioned with the heartworm. He was not good. He came to us not good with other dogs, other male dogs specifically. When we first got him, he did go after our 2 male dogs, but over time and exposure and training, he has now become part of our pack and does well with all of our dogs here. One of our other issues that we have is the lack of training that also comes with the socialization. Same thing. If your dog is not properly trained, it's harder to rehome them. It's harder to place them with families. Everybody wants that dog that's going to come right in and be a great addition to their home, but it takes work and it takes time. Lacey has a little separation anxiety. That's another issue. You may be able to hear her in the background. She's fine. She just wants her mama. So those are just a few of the things that we see here in rescue. The hardest cases are the ones where the dogs have been left to fend for themselves. Owners may simply pack up and move and leave their dogs behind to fend for themselves. Imagine, would you do that to your child? To your elderly parent? I don't think so. But people do it to their animals. Those are the dogs that really come in dire shape. Flea infested, tick infested, skin and bones. It takes a lot of work and a lot of resources to really rehabilitate these dogs that come to us. So please, if you want to have a pet in your home, and we encourage you doing that because dogs are great additions, understand what it takes to provide the best life for that dog. Understand that it takes time, effort, and resources, veterinary care, preventative measures. Your dog wants to be part of your family. They don't want to be tied up on a chain or left out in the yard all day long without you. They want to have that human contact and connection. You may have a working dog. Provide that dog the stimulation they need. Are they a hunter? Are they a guardian? Whatever that dog breed specifies, it's in the genetics. They need to have that experience in their lives. It's so important that you know what you're walking into and not just doing it because everybody wants that cute little puppy in their life. It's a lot of work, but the reward is more than worth it. If you look at some of our dogs, if you look at Carl came from a life on the chain, but he is now the happiest when he is inside on the couch. That is his happy place. And that's what we provide for them. I do want to reiterate what Haley has already said. The most important thing is that if you see something, say something. You're not going to know all their circumstances, but if you see a dog out without proper shelter and it's a hot day, if you see a dog in a car and it's a hot day, anything over 75 degrees is too hot for a dog to be in a car because the heat only intensifies inside the vehicle and it only takes minutes for that dog to succumb. If it's too hot for you to touch your hand, hold your hand on the surface of the road or the sidewalk, it's not a good time to walk your dog either. Their pads are sensitive. You will do damage. If it's too hot out and too humid out, don't take your dog for a long hike. They will not have the ability to recover from that. If you have a shelter for your dog, make sure that you put a thermometer under there from time to time and that the temperature is not too hot or not too cold for them. Not every dog house that's on the market provides the adequate shade and shelter for your dog. And that's the most important thing. It's just providing more than the basics of shelter, food, and water. Your dog wants love, companionship, exercise, discipline, everything. Everything that it takes to raise a child, it also takes to make a happy, healthy dog. So please do your research. Think about it before you jump in. And make sure that you pick the right breed for your family and your needs. Thank you.
When contacting an agency about suspected animal abuse, try to have detailed information available on when and where you saw it and what you heard or saw. You can file an anonymous report, but please consider providing your information. The case is more likely to be pursued if there is someone standing behind the report. If you have pictures or video of the abuse happening, please provide the evidence to your local law enforcement for the investigation. And if you know anyone else who has information on the abuse, please use their contact information as well. So please, if you see something, say something.